thank you so much for being with me.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here and I appreciate your kind words. It's kind of one of those things. The first time I shared, I was really scared about it. How are people going to see me? And you're sharing some of your most vulnerable pictures, especially, the ones in the bathing suit. I'm like, am I really ready for this? But you do it once and then it gets easier each time. And I've had enough people reach out to me saying things kind of like what you're saying that it helped them. And that's what, I used to be a teacher, now I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I like to help. I like to know that I'm helping someone else in some way. And if that's what I'm doing by sharing, then I'm going to keep sharing.
I love that, Paige. It's people like you that really do they take intermittent fasting to the next level. It's like when you're helping other people, you're also keeping yourself in check in a way. I mean, am I wrong? It's like
No, you're
it helps
absolutely
you.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of holds you accountable on those days that I might think, I'm ready to eat. And it's only like 10 o'clock. I'm like, I was just talking to such and so the other day and giving them this advice of go for a walk or drink some sparkling water. And I'm going to take my own advice now, but, kind of live what you
Absolutely.
preach. So,
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So I like to always start with the very burning question. Everyone has no, I'm assuming most listeners don't know who you are, but how and when did you first discover clean intermittent fasting? When was that?
um, when I first discovered it would have been back in August of 2019. I had heard of fasting prior to that, probably as far back as like 2016. One of my friends was doing some fasting. I don't know that she was clean fasting, and at the time I thought, oh my gosh, that doesn't sound healthy. You're
Right.
supposed to eat 3 times a day and have snacks and all the things. So that was probably the first time the seed was planted because she looked fabulous, and now I know why. Um, and then fast forward to 2019, my sister-in-law and my brother show up on our family vacation at the beach and they come out in their swimsuits and I'm like, wow, like look at you two. Y'all look great. And they're like, well, we've been fasting and we love it. We feel good. And I don't remember if they were clean fasting, but I just remember that seeing them looking as good as they did, I was like, I've got to look into this more. I was a little over a year postpartum at that point. I was done breastfeeding. I breastfed for a year. And so I was really, just feeling out of tune with my body. So I was looking for something to get me back to feeling good. Um, and so we got home from that trip. I got in the car one day. My son fell asleep. And being a stay at home mom, sometimes it's just nice to drive around.
Oh, girl, I know.
Yeah, let them sleep. So I'm like, I stopped for a minute and I'm like, I'm going to just put in my podcast fasting and see what pops up, like on just the Apple Podcast app. And Jen's Stevens intermittent fasting stories came up. And I was like, all right, I'll listen to this while I ride around. I was blown away. I mean, it really almost sounded unbelievable. Because I think I went back to like her first episode and one of the first ones on there. So I think I listened to two that day, but one of them might have been that Lynn, and she had lost, I mean, like 100 or so pounds. I was like, this is just crazy. But it was enough to, I was hooked. So I was like, all right, I will give this a go. I ordered her book, Delay Don't Deny. I don't think Fast Feast Repeat was out yet. Um, Read that like in a day or so and got started. But so I did it for a month and it was great. I mean, I think my body was at a point where like I lost 10 pounds that month. And I know that not everybody does.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was enough. I was super motivated. I felt better. It just fit with the rhythm of my life. But then I got pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we weren't really trying, but I got pregnant and we were excited. So I was like, well, I can't fast now. And then we found out it was twins, and that was like a
Oh
whole
my
nother.
word.
Yeah, that was the craziest. We didn't like I had made it to our first appointment. They did not see the second baby. And then we went on, my sister lived in Florida. So we had gone down to visit her, woke up with some bleeding, went to the ER, and they're like, did you realize that you were having twins? I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I was 12 weeks at that point.
Okay.
So that was such a shocker. Unfortunately, I miscarried about a week
Oh,
after that.
oh, I'm so sorry.
So that was a really, really difficult time.
Yeah,
And so I did not get back to fasting right away. It took some time, just kind of muddling through the emotions and grieving that loss.
right.
And let's see, so that was October of 2019. By January 2020, I was pregnant again. And
Wow.
that's my sweet little Harrison, who is now about to be 3.
Oh my
So
goodness.
got to have a really great COVID pregnancy. So I
Lots of
had him,
babies. Yeah.
yeah, yes. So I had him in September of 2020.
Oh,
I nursed him for 21 months, and so I didn't do anything diet wise during that time. I knew that my body needed a little more, so I was gentle with myself. But the weight just didn't come off. It didn't come all the way off with my first son, and it definitely didn't come off with my second. And I was just feeling so lost,
mm,
didn't feel like myself, was super tired all the time. I had a thyroidectomy in 2017. So I've been on synthetic thyroid hormone since then. And it was like every time I was going to the doctor, it was like, well, we need to bump you up a little bit more. So that was clear signs that one, it's a weight based medicine, but two, like my body wasn't utilizing that hormone the way it
sure.
needed
Yeah.
to. So fast forward to the spring of 2022.
Okay.
Um, I've weaned my son from nursing, so we're done with that. I've got a bachelorette trip coming up in that May. And, I'm sitting at like 211 pounds, which I'm 5'7". So that's a significant
Yeah.
amount of weight on my body. And in a lot of it, I just was like bloated, just swollen, like so
Yeah.
much inflammation. And, living in leggings and oversized t-shirts. And so, my other sister-in-law, not the one I referenced earlier, she was doing Weight Watchers, and she had lost a good bit of weight. She seemed happy, and it's like, I'm gonna look into that. And they actually, I was not totally weaned. I hadn't weaned my son totally yet, so because they had a breastfeeding plan. I remember I did their plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. I lost like 18-ish pounds, probably over the span of 3 months, but it made me crazy. Like it
Mm,
literally just made me obsess over food.
right.
And I'm a people pleaser. I'm a rule follower. So if I didn't stick within my points, I was just like beating myself up so hard about it.
Oh man.
So like I said, did that for about 3 months and finally was like, you know what? I'm done. I think I'm going to hop on this, like, love your body as you are movement, which I think is amazing. And I think at every point you should love your body. Um, but I wasn't, I don't know. I wanted to embrace that theory, but I guess I just wasn't doing a very good job at it. I dabbled a little in some intuitive eating, but my satiety hormones were so out of whack. So it's like,
Your
are you
intuition told you eat a bunch, right?
Yeah, like I'm
Right.
always hungry. Sure. You want
Sure.
to eat this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. So
Mm-hmm.
that didn't do anything for me.
Sure.
Um, so went on the bachelorette trip, still at like 211 pounds. It was a lake trip, so everyone's out in their bathing suits, and I just felt, I just didn't feel good. Came home from that, and then we're into the summer. We take a few more family vacations, another lake trip, and I think I shared just recently in your Facebook group. It's like I'm wearing like a tie-dye tank top.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law took that picture of me, and the rest of my family's in it. You just can't see them because I'm on the end, but she took the photo, like cute family photo. We're out at sunset, and I get back to the cabin and I'm looking at my pictures from the day, and I see that one, and I'm like, oh my God, is that me? Is that really me? That's where this has gone. And so I just like that moment, that was the photo that was like, when we get back, something's got to give. So I think actually on that like trip on the next day, my son again had one of them was napping, and I was just kind of hanging out. I was like, I'm gonna pull up the podcast, the intermittent fasting stories, and just listen again. And it helped. It got me my head back where it needed to go. And so I decided June 27th, 2022 was the first day of my new start date to fast and fast clean. And I have not stopped since. So
Wow. And you're down like 35 pounds ish, right?
33. Yeah.
33. Incredible. And what
Yeah.
have you experienced besides weight loss? I mean, the look on like, I don't know if I'm going to post obviously pictures for,
Mm-hmm.
for our listeners to see your befores and your afters, but you could see health just radiating. You're glowing
Thank you.
and it's incredible to see. So what have you experienced besides the weight loss?
Well, so I haven't, I was fortunate, I'm young, I'm only 32. So the lifestyle I was living was going to catch up with me in time, but I guess it hadn't yet.
It
So
does.
I didn't have any like significant crazy health things, but I
Mhm.
did have a horrible case of plantar fasciitis, like to
Okay.
the point where I would wake up every morning and was like hobbling for the first
Oh
10
my
minutes. And then it
gosh.
was still sore throughout the day. Had to be careful about what kind of shoes I would wear. That's gone. That was
Wow.
gone within the first 2 or 3 months of fasting. Like it was totally gone. My skin is clear. I was struggling a lot with breakouts prior to fasting, and now I very rarely break out. Um, my energy is just, I mean, I don't get tired. I mean, I do, but not like I used to. Like used to,
Yeah.
I needed
Yeah.
that 2 o'clock in the afternoon cup of
Oh
coffee,
yeah.
maybe even a nap when my
Oh
kids are
yeah.
napping. Now I don't need that. My anxiety, that's another thing, I talked about when I was doing Weight Watchers feeling crazy, like I literally did.
Yeah. So from
Um,
all the deprivation,
yeah,
sticking to the
I
point.
don't feel that anymore. I mean, yeah, of
Yeah.
course I still struggle here and there with overwhelming situations, but
Yeah,
on
but
a day-to-day basis, I feel good. I don't feel anxious anymore. I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. I can approach life with a positive attitude. Um, and then my thyroid, like I said, I don't have a thyroid anymore. So I will
right.
always take medicine,
Yes. Yes.
but it has been reduced 3 times now. So I'm on the lowest.
What?
Yeah, I'm on the lowest dose I've ever been on.
Girl, that's huge.
I
That is
know
huge. That is a huge
it's
health
cool.
victory. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
wow. That is so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. It's been great. I just feel more in tune with myself. I feel like me again,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, I find
so
it really impressive because you're 32, you said?
32. Mhm.
32. Okay, so I'm thinking back to when I was 32, 10 years ago. I wish I had known because I was in that spiral of gaining, gaining, gaining. I was about to have my first, going to have my second. I had my kids a little later, but I was on a spiral of hormonal weight gain also. And so to have known about it when I was much younger would have been so beneficial to the 42-year-old present me. So
Yeah.
your future self is going to thank you for what you've done and where you're going to continue to go on your journey because it's never over.
Right. Yeah.
You know that you're in for the long haul. And can
Mhm.
you ever see yourself going back to eating, 3 times a day and
Oh my
snacking in
gosh,
between?
no. And I'm so thankful I found it now.
Yeah.
I don't take that for granted. And let me tell you, I had COVID a little over a week ago,
Oh
this
my.
lovely second surge.
I know. Yeah.
So, while I was sick, I had it was a pretty mild case, but I had like 2 days that I had a
Yeah.
fever and felt pretty rough and decided to eat a little earlier in the day because I had tried one day I didn't eat because I was hungry. I ate because I was trying to take Tylenol cold and flu, and
Yeah.
I took it on an empty stomach the first
Mm.
day. And that was a very bad
Oh,
mistake for
that
me.
is, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Oh
was like, all right,
gosh.
I need to eat so that I can take this medicine, so that I can breathe, so that I can sleep. And so here we go. So that's what I did. Listen to your body, do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
But let me say, by the end of the week, I just felt like junk, because I just was like, I'm not used to eating this much. I wasn't eating the best things either because I just wanted something comforting, like a muffin instead of, what I would usually eat. And yeah, I'm so glad that that's over. And yesterday was like my first, like I did a 22-hour fast and I feel a lot better
Wonderful.
today. I can tell I'm less inflamed. Of
Yeah,
course, the scale had gone up with that inflammation, but
it
I didn't
happens.
panic.
Yeah,
I knew. And sure enough, today it was back down. Like, and I can fluctuate, and most women can. I can
yeah.
fluctuate 5, 6 pounds like
Oh, girl, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, this
So,
is so important. Let's dive in a little bit here because
mhm,
woman to woman, and
mhm,
you're a little bit younger than me, but it happens to me. It happens to us all, even postmenopausal women. We can
mhm,
go up between 4 to 6 pounds every single day. That's why
mhm.
it's super important to, if are you a daily weigher? Do you weigh
I
every?
am.
So you
Yeah,
take the average every week, like Jen
I do. I
suggests.
use Happy Scale.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
that's what people who weigh need to do. Don't randomly step on the scale and
No, oh my
think that you're
gosh.
going to get something out of it other than just frustration, because especially females, your weight is going up and down
Yeah.
even more than men. Men are just dealing with fluids
Right.
mostly.
Right.
And we're dealing with hormones and retention of water and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, again, take your daily average or your weekly averages from your daily weigh at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's great advice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That had saved my sanity, was
Uh,
knowing that this is in a range. I'm sick right now. I'm eating a little more right now. My
yeah.
whole body's out of whack right now, and it'll
Yep.
come down. And I didn't even worry about it. And I'm not back down all the way yet, but like I said, I'm not even 2 weeks out from the being sick, so
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. It'll come.
It will literally shed right off once you get back. You said today was day one of your normal routine. I
Mm,
bet you by next weekend you're back to
yeah,
where you were. And just
exactly.
so everybody out there knows, when you are sick, whether it's COVID, whether it's the flu or a cold or whatever it is, don't be worried so much about the timer and your fasting. Like what Paige was saying, listen to your body
Yeah.
and trust that. Eat when you want to eat, and you
Mhm.
know fasting is always here for you. So when you're feeling
Yeah.
better, like Paige is having her first, and she's here with me today. So thank you so much for doing this. That because I know COVID can be it's overwhelming a little bit, or it can be. So yeah, I mean, you're getting back to your normal routine and it's always here for you. And that's the beautiful thing. You're not going to gain 6 pounds from COVID and keep it
No.
on. Um,
No, and I was looking forward to getting back to it. And if that doesn't tell
yeah,
you something about this lifestyle, then, I was excited, like, okay, I'm finally not congested anymore. I don't need to take this medicine, so I can fast my normal fasting and feel better. And and get back to exercising. Like I would not have been looking forward to starting back Weight Watchers or anything else that I've tried over the years. I wouldn't have looked
totally.
forward to that. This was like a breath of fresh air to wake up yesterday knowing I was going to fast for 22 hours, knowing I was going to have a wonderful meal last night and then get up and do it again today. So
It's
that's
wonderful
really
when you can actually look forward getting back to your healthy lifestyle instead of your diet or whatever that you're on that's
right.
dragging you down, that's making you miserable.
Yeah.
So if you're on a diet, if you're doing Weight Watchers and you're miserable, give intermittent fasting a try, but always clean fast. Otherwise you're not fasting.
100%. Yeah,
So I assume you're married, and
I am.
does your husband or partner, does he fast as well?
He does not, but he has been wildly supportive.
Good.
He, has never given me one day of a hard time about it at all.
That's great.
And he believes in the power of fasting, and he wants to do it. He kind of dabbles in his own little version of fasting sometimes. I hope that one day he will commit fully. I think he will. I think the time's coming. Because
Oh, it's
it's
coming.
it's hard. It's hard to watch like your partner be successful, and he sees me not only like look better, but he sees me feeling better. And he was right there with me in the trenches when I was having anxiety, when I was feeling at my worst. So
Right.
he sees the complete difference, and he knows it's true. He knows the power of the fast. So I think that eventually he will get to it. Like I said, it's just, I think it's a mindset, like
Mhm,
to take that leap to decide. And he's a big coffee drinker and he adds
mhm,
cream and sugar. And I think
mhm.
that's probably his biggest hang up, which was mine, which is a lot of people. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where time takes him.
It usually is, like you mentioned, watching your partner have so much success, not just with your body, but with your confidence, with your comfort level, with so many health victories that you've had. It's hard to sit back and say, well, that could be me. And
Mhm.
men sometimes take a little bit longer than women to open their mind completely to something, because it is a whole lifestyle change, and he's
Yeah.
seen your commitment,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he's inspired by you, but it's probably, you know, like I said, it takes men sometimes a little longer, but I think
Right.
he's going to come around. And when he
I hope
does,
so.
get
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, I hope so. I never try to be pushy. I just try to be supportive, but I'm like,
Yep.
I'm here if you ever want to talk about it.
That's awesome. Well, if your husband listens to this, I hope you start intermittent fasting. It's a wonderful health plan, as you've seen with your lovely wife. So let's talk about exercise. Do you exercise when you were losing? Do you exercise now? How do you feel about it?
I have always been an active person. I played sports in high school. I played volleyball. I've always loved doing outdoorsy stuff, hiking, kayaking, canoeing, and things. When I had kids, a lot of that slowed down.
Of course.
Um, and so that probably added to the weight gain because not only was I eating more and having hormones and stress changes, but I wasn't as active. And so when I started fasting, I did not initially do any kind of exercise. Um, but so that started in June. By January, I decided kind of that New Year's motivation, I'm going to kind of get into an exercise routine. So there is a girl here in my hometown. Her name is Courtney Farrell. And shout out to Courtney because she's great.
Hi,
She does
Courtney.
online boot camps that she like has a Facebook group for.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so I think it was in January, she launched, yeah, because I started with week one. Yeah. So in January, she launched a new version of her boot camp that she called it 10 for 10. So 3 days a week, she posts a 10-minute video of an exercise routine. And you might think like you can't get a good sweat going in 10 minutes, but girl, yes, you can.
Oh,
Like it
yeah.
is. And it's great. It's all like weight bearing activities,
Wonderful.
nothing crazy. Like I use anywhere from 5 on a day that I might be feeling a little less
Sure.
motivated, all the way up to 15-pound weights to do. And she shows you everything you need to do. And all the videos stay on the page. So
Mhm,
if you were to join now, you'd be able to access everything she's posted since January. And again, it's 3 videos a week, 10 minutes
mhm.
each. So you can do, there's some days I do them and I might do 2 of them. So I do a 20-minute workout.
Yeah.
So I started that in January and I do think it helped with toning as I went along. I don't know if it necessarily helped me lose weight any faster, but I did see a pretty significant difference I take pictures pretty regularly. I started seeing a good difference in my muscle tone in those pictures. So that was exciting. And then let's see, it's September. I guess back in August this year, I just on a whim, I was like, I want to be a runner. Like I've always wanted to run. I hate running. Like I've never been good at it. When I played sports in high school, I was the girl that once I got to where my coach couldn't see me, I was totally like fast walking it
Oh,
out.
same, same, same.
And so, but I don't know. I've just always thought it was cool. I've admired people who do
Yeah.
it. I was like, I'm signing up for a 5K. I just want to, and I want to run it. Like I want to run the whole thing. I've done a 5K before, but I didn't run the entire thing. So, yeah, now the race is in 3 weeks and I'm up to just this morning. I ran for 15 minutes, like consecutive, just ran.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Like pushing a stroller. Like
incredible.
I know I'm excited about it.
And
Um,
pushing your kids around?
mhm.
That's hard. That's hard
Yeah,
walking.
I did have to get a new stroller. I was like, I have to get a legit jogging stroller because
Sure.
this other what I was
Yeah.
pushing was not working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. Like I just feel proud of myself. I feel good when I'm done. So yeah, so I'm getting ready for that. The race is October 7th, and it's a
Nice.
breast cancer awareness race, and I'm running it with my sister and sister-in-law. They're going to join me. So yeah, so I
That's
started
cool.
doing that again. I haven't seen any significant changes on the scale, but it's bringing me joy, and that's why I'm doing it. So
It's a little different when you, like you said, you weren't really exercising when you were losing.
mhm,
And I have to be honest, all I did was walk when I was losing, but I do intense workout now. So I had a very similar experience. It's very important to understand that you're not going to see weight loss necessarily from just working out, and that's a
right,
huge misconception because people think if I could just get in the gym, if I
right,
could just go running,
yeah,
but y'all, it's like 80% what you eat and when you
it
eat
is,
it, and the other 20% is like working out. So probably
yeah,
what's happening to your body now is like you're getting muscle, you're
hmm
toning. And so
hmm
I've got to ask, and I think I know the answer. Do you do your workouts fasted?
absolutely. Like I plan them to do them fasted. I can't imagine trying to work out after I eat. After I eat, like I'm done. Like
Yeah.
because I eat. I'm a good eater. I'm a volume eater. Snacks are not for me. I end up turning it into a meal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally work out. I like to work out in the morning. I'll get up and we have a basement where I've got a treadmill and I have some little weights down there that I do the boot camp workouts with. And so, yeah, I get up, I do that in the morning. And by that time, because we eat an early ish dinner, so I'm usually 13, 14 hours fasted by the time I'm doing that. So,
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, there's no other way to do it. If
mm-mm,
you want to work up to being a person who works out every day and actually looking forward to it, because
mhm.
I don't know about you, but in my previous life, pre-intermittent fasting, I couldn't even imagine me getting that excited about
No,
working out.
I dreaded
I
it.
I mean, yeah, it was dreadful. I
Yeah,
didn't look forward to it ever. And so, but now it's like you look forward to that workout
yeah,
and it becomes just part of your habit, part of your day. And when you do it fasted, you are tapping even further into your fat stores.
yeah.
So the more fasted you are, obviously, the better the outcome will be when you tap into those stores. However, I want to remind everyone it is like fasting, it's like a muscle. You have to build it up over time.
Yes, and I want to point out if anyone's listening to this and you get inspired to run or incorporate any kind of exercise. When I first started running, I think I posted this in your group, or no, I posted it in Jen's The Circle community, her
Okay.
DDD group. But then somebody on your page asked the same question just recently, and I
Yes,
responded.
I saw that.
Um, I got super hungry at first when I
Mm-hmm.
first started. Not when I started the boot camp, because like I don't think 10 minutes was enough to like really
Yeah.
ignite that hunger
Yeah.
or whatever was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when I started running, I was finding myself at like 9 in the morning, like
Oh, yeah.
ravenous.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's happening? I don't ever eat this early. I'm not ready to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody suggested that I needed maybe to up my protein a little bit. Or actually, it was Jen in her community. She said, maybe up your protein, maybe extend your window like an hour. Make sure you're getting nutrient dense food. And so I did. I started making sure that, and I'm like, I need meat. I don't think I could be a vegetarian or anything. Like some people I feel great on plants. I do not feel satisfied if I don't have some meat with my dinner. So I just started making sure I was getting some good quality meat and balancing that out with some vegetables and carbs.
Mm-hmm.
I like to eat like pistachios and walnuts and things, so some
Mm-hmm.
healthy fats in there too.
Yeah.
And I did extend my window just a little bit for a short time, like maybe not even a full week, maybe like 5 days, and that feeling subsided.
Yeah.
So, whether it was my body adjusting or the nutritional changes taking effect, it didn't last forever. So if someone starts that and you're thinking, what have I done to myself? Hang in there, eat a little bit more. It'll
Yeah.
pass.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the protein, the advice from Jin was spot on. Protein is so important. I can't stress this enough. Vegetarians, vegans, find a way to get sustainable protein. I know you're not eating animals, and I'm sorry because they're delicious. But
Mhm.
sorry, I'm sorry about that. Um, it it's so important to get the proper amount of protein, and what's proper for one person isn't going to be proper for somebody else because we're all different. But feel your body out, up your protein, maybe extend your window, like she suggested. And another thing is to make sure you're getting enough salt, enough
Yeah.
electrolytes in your body. That's one thing that a lot of people forget. Even when we're just fasting, we have to make sure we're replenishing the electrolytes we're losing. So just pink salt is a great way to
Yeah.
do that, and upping your water. But yeah, you got to work up to it. And, working out fasted is like my favorite thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
It is.
So, you are, like I was mentioning earlier, and we've been talking about, you are one of our members of our community online and on Facebook, in fact, and you're always contributing and inspiring people. And so that's, what I'm all about. So I love that. And so with that being said, how important do you feel success, to be successful in this lifestyle? How important do you feel having a good community is?
I think it's very important because in my day to day life, I don't have any other fasters around me
Yeah.
consistently. My mom has started fasting, which is great. I'm so happy
Yeah.
she's jumped on, but we don't. She's a little quieter about it, so we don't
Yeah.
talk about it a whole lot, and that's
Mhm.
fine. I respect her privacy on that. It's her journey, and so being able to look at other people's pictures and also be inspired. Read about other people's questions because sometimes it's a question I might have.
Yeah.
And just seeing other people living the lifestyle in a healthy way, it's motivating. It helps me stay accountable, helps me just have that sense of belonging and a community, because I guess it's not norm, to live this kind of lifestyle. Most people, I would say, don't, at least not around me. So seeing a large group of people that do in your community also and in Jen's, it's just great. It's helped me many, many times. So
It really helps with your mindset because let's face it, mindset is a really huge piece of the puzzle here. And,
mhm.
seeing others, have their struggles, have their successes, and be able to bounce ideas off each other and questions, it's super helpful to have it. So, yeah, I'm so grateful for everyone in this community, especially, people like you who are willing to come on and share your story, not just on social media, but actually like to the world, because,
Mhm.
this show is listened to in over 45 countries around the
Wow,
world.
that's
And
awesome.
so there's a lot of ears right now.
Mhm.
And it's absolutely inspirational to be able to have a podcast to go to be able to have a community, whether it's online or maybe you're lucky enough to have a circle, like, physically in your
Yeah,
location. I don't have that. I don't know many people that do, honestly.
yeah,
So it's really, really cool. So thank you for being a part of the community always.
yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah. Thank you for all the work that you do. It's
Well,
it's great. I appreciate that, especially when Jen left Facebook. I was really sad about it. I didn't find your group right away, but it wasn't too long after I found your group, and I was like, ah, okay, cool. Like her community is great. That the platform that you have to pay for. I do, do that, and it's worth it to me to do it. But I'm on Facebook more, so I love when I'm scrolling, might not even be thinking about it, and here is somebody's before and after, and I'm like, oh, look at this. This is great. So thank you for creating a space where we can share and learn and all the work. Your
it's
podcast is great. I love listening to that. So
I mean, this is just what I love to do it. I love to see people get well and see them succeed. So I spreading the word of intermittent fasting is really all I want to be doing.
yeah,
So thank you for saying that. That's very
yeah.
kind. I appreciate that. So the last thing I want to ask is if there's somebody out there that's listening who it's Paige, years ago when you're listening to the intermittent fasting stories for the first time and you are contemplating, what is the one thing that you would say to yourself back then to like just give you that extra shove that you need that now that maybe you didn't know back then?
Um, it's life changing. Like I just cannot express to you. Like I can remember so clearly how desperate I felt, how awful I felt. Just do it. Just Start small. I started small. I started with, and like I said, my coffee was my biggest hang up.
Yeah.
So I started by pushing it back to 9 o'clock, then 9:30, then 10, then 10:30, then 11. And now, I've done ADF, a few times before, and I never would have dreamt that I could do that. So um, just know that this is the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. Self care is important and it's love, and you've got to love yourself. You got to take care of yourself. I've got two little guys that depend on me. I've got a husband that depends on me, and I need to feel good to take care of them. I've got to fill my cup up to fill theirs up. And so just do it, immerse yourself in the community, listen to the podcast, read the books, um, and go for it. Make that commitment.
Paige, that is so incredible. I mean, really, just saying that it's life changing, that really sums it up because, like you said, you have two little guys, and this is resonating with me. My kids are a little older now, but it's very important to put yourself as a mother first because you won't be able to properly take care of your kids and your family. You're going to be running on empty, and you can't run on empty.
Yeah.
And this gives you your life back.
Yeah. Yeah. It
It's
really has.
incredible. So, congrats to all the success you've had. Thank you for being with me this morning and taking the time out of your day. You're a stay at home mom, so you're always working, you're always on the
Yep.
clock. And so, I'm going to let you get back to your duties as mama. Thank you so, so much, Paige. I really, really enjoyed this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, girl. Have a good day.
You too.